I'm Wes Kussmaul.
In 1981, I quit my job at Tektronix and created the Kussmaul Encyclopedia, the world's first commercially available computerized encyclopedia. For about the price of Britannica, you got a personal computer, some software, plus access to our online encyclopedia, whose articles were constantly updated via a United Press newsfeed. The encyclopedia lost money, but fortunately we had added social features to the package. By 1982, we discovered that social media could be financially sustainable by itself if we stopped supplying the computer to access it. So we changed the name from Kussmaul Encyclopedia to Delphi. The author Michael Wolff credits Delphi with being a major factor in the popularization of the Internet. Now, back then, social media had integrity. There was no Silicon Valley megalomaniac spying on you, creating a database about who you communicated with, your purchase habits, your political affiliations, your whole digital self. Most importantly, with Delphi, you had accountable anonymity. You could have up to 6 usernames, giving them to family members or using them for yourself for different personas. Nobody got to know your name or gender or age or anything else about you unless you told them, or if someone got a court order because you defrauded them or otherwise injured them or broke the law. Our system let you assert your identity without disclosing your identity. How does that work? Think about your car's license plate. Anyone can see it, making you accountable for what happens on public roadways. But no one gets to know the identity of the driver or owner unless there's been an accident. With Delphi, your username made you accountable, but you remained anonymous. Then, when the web came along in the 90s, anyone could invent an identity, be anyone, and do anything. I remember a conversation with Kip Bryan, our VP of Engineering. We were asking each other, how can this work? Where's the accountability? The answer was given a few years later by the headline of the cover story of MIT Technology Review. The Internet is broken. And of course, it's still broken. Malware, ransomware, phishing attacks, breaches, fraud, facilitation of human trafficking, and on and on. Not to mention the dozens of passwords we're all expected to remember. Actually, it's not the Internet that's broken. Rather, it's our perception of what the Internet is that's broken. More on that later. We sold Delphi to Rupert Murdoch's News America Corporation in 1993. I retained a license to some of the technology and built a second business, providing a private label social media platform to magazine publishers and others. 5 years later, we merged it with another company and sold the combined business to NTT Vario. Suddenly, I found myself with time on my hands. I started pestering friends and family with my question about accountability. My daughter Sarah asked, "Isn't that the problem that PKI is supposed to fix?" I said, yes, PKI was supposed to fix accountability, and then rattled off the reasons why it didn't. Well, for months afterward, I thought about my answer. I came to realize the problem wasn't with PKI, but with the way PKI has been deployed. What is PKI, you ask? Well, I'm not going to tell you what the letters stand for because, like so many other computer acronyms, this one will just mislead you. Just know that a stripped-down version of PKI is what you use when you go to a site that starts with HTTPS.
Blockchain uses a stripped-down version of PKI.
PKI is a fantastic technology which, if done right, fixes all sorts of problems. But doing PKI right means doing a lot of things differently. It means stepping back. It means stepping way back and putting together a plan for building PKI done right into the way we do things. I mentioned license plates. The Internet used to be called an information highway, and the name still fits. So what is a highway but an outdoor public transport system that we typically use for going from one building to another, one secure indoor space to another? So where are the online buildings? PKI is a really rugged construction material with which we can build secure online buildings. But in order for a building to be habitable, it needs an occupancy permit. That means its architect and contractor and building inspector have to put their professional licenses and livelihoods on the line in order for City Hall to issue that occupancy permit. So now I had my answer to what to do with all that time on my hands. I started writing a book about how to fix the internet using PKI done right. Quiet Enjoyment was published in 2004, with the second edition coming 10 years later. As I was writing the first edition, I was introduced to some people at the International Telecommunication Union, a UN agency, who were actually building a world PKI that resembled what I was advocating. It was called the World E-Trust Initiative. I was appointed to the high-level experts group of the ITU's global cybersecurity agenda to pursue a joint effort, but a short time later the ITU decided that for political reasons, it couldn't proceed with the World E-Trust Initiative. At the ITU's Geneva headquarters on March 7, 2005, the project was handed off to me as the founder of a new certification authority that takes the form of an online municipality. On that day, we wrote the first version of the municipal charter for the city of Osmio. Now our team is putting the plan described in Quiet Enjoyment into practice with a name for PKI done right. It's called Authenticity. Deploying authenticity is not going to be simple, but it's also not as difficult as first appearances might suggest. The technology is not only very well established, it's built into a lot of the software we use all the time. It just sits there mostly unused because no one's teaching the developers how to use it and why. I'm reaching out to you today in hopes that I might show you how authenticity will solve all of our major problems with the use of the internet and phone networks.
The Authenticity Alliance consists of an Authenticity Enterprise section for licensees of the PKIDR platform and an Individual Members section. I invite you to join the Authenticity Alliance as an individual member and help us bring about a world where real privacy and real security are everyday reality.